introduce our guest, Angelina Say that again for me.
Mojica, Angelina Mojica. Yes.
Mojica. Yes, I want to pronounce it correctly because if I don't, my brother Rodney, the host of Dad Mentality, will get on my case. So I must say things correctly. Right, brother?
Absolutely, absolutely. Nice to meet you, Angelina Mojica. It's
Thank
very
you.
easy to remember. Let's see how many times he has to ask you, but I got you though. It's all
and this,
good. But
and of
I'm
you know,
Rodney Glover from Dad Mentality Podcast. You can watch me on all platforms. Dad underscore mentality Monday nights at 7 o'clock. Check me out.
and definitely, and with our lovely Lady T, who stays on fire. But she wasn't on fire yesterday. But today, I see a little
Wow.
difference in her spirit today. She was under the weather, guys, but she is here with us. And guess what? It's an honor to have her with us all the time. And so, without a further ado, we're gonna let Angelina introduce you guys to what she does and how her day was, and what's going on in her life for the moment.
Oh, sure. There's a lot going on. Most important is my son Chance just had his first baby, my third grandbaby. So it was the reason I flew into Texas this week. But I am living in South Carolina at the moment, and that was definitely a God call for me. I serve as an associate vice president for programs and services through the Connie Maxwell Children's Ministry. So it's a very blessed opportunity. Born and raised in Lubbock, Texas, and so for me to relocate and leave my family behind, I mean, it definitely had to be a God calling, and it was. But I've done child welfare for the past 13 years, and in those 13 years, I also launched my own podcast, which is called Good Morning Minutes, and much like yourself, just uplifting people, sharing the gospel of God, and just how it's being applied. Because I'm definitely someone that likes to be an action taker. Because I think words speak louder, or actions speak louder than words, is what I'm trying to say. Um, so I love that. And then I launched my own nonprofit called Empower Her Steps, which takes a story, your story, and utilizes it as a platform to regain your momentum in life and really serve in purpose whatever that calling is upon you. And so those are some of the things that I do.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is
It is
wonderful.
amazing how God works, I tell you.
Yes,
Amen.
it is.
Hmm.
Look, Lord have mercy. It is. It is definitely amazing, right, Ronnie?
Absolutely.
So today we have something special. So we're gonna start off with you, Angelina. This is something that's real dear to me. 5 truths about love that change you.
Ooh, that's a good one. And that is actually one that I'm starting to step into and really define for myself. But 5 truths, it is love is unconditional, love is forgiving, love is compassionate, love is empathetic, and above all, love is love.
Okay, all right.
All right.
So what
All right.
about you, Rodney? What about you?
5 things about love that changed me.
Five
Well,
truths.
five
Truth.
truths about love. One, you got to love yourself before you can love. Before people put too much into getting love from other people
Mm.
when you can't. It is impossible, in my opinion. It is impossible to know how to love someone else when you don't know how to love yourself. So that for me is the first truth that I say. You have to learn how to love yourself before you can love someone else and be even functional in a functional relationship with someone when you don't love yourself. So that's just one truth. Can I do like one at a time as we go, or I got to give you all 5? I mean, Angelina was prepared. I wasn't prepared. So, but I guess another truth about love that changed me is I guess I never knew how great God's love was until I really gave myself to him. It's amazing. And what's crazy is once you really do that, you start seeing it in other people's in other you can start seeing it around to other people. You can see how his love helped your friends, your family, help the things that you need to do that you know that only he can do. It starts like really opening your eyes to how great his love and glory and the glory of it is. So I mean, I guess that's my only couple I got right now. I don't want to sit here and try to think. I'll think of it as we go or agree with Lady T. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Lady T.
I think that for me, love requires vulnerability. That was something that was very profound in my life. Love is more of a choice than a feeling. Love mirrors the self. Love evolves with time, and love is freedom and not possession. So I think that is, for me, how love has really changed my life.
I like that one. Love is a choice. I like that.
Mhm.
I like that too.
Wish I had thought of it.
So as I got ready to study minds, I said love gives freedom, not control.
Hmm.
Without respect, love turns into pain. Real love doesn't ask to be shrunk. Consistency turns into intensity. Hold on.
Get it out slowly.
Here goes the made up word. Go ahead.
No.
Pronunciate.
There we go. You wrote it, right?
Intensity.
Yes. Say it again, though. Say everything again.
Consistency revolves around intensity. I can't pronounce it correctly. I'm getting tongue tied, but only God love never fails. And so, you know, at the end of the day, you know, love is something that has to be practiced as well. Not only practice it like Lady T said, vulnerability, accountability. These things you have to be able to accept that when you do something wrong, you have to be humble about it. And so that's true love, because you know when you think about we talked about Jesus mentality, and that's one of the biggest things is being humble, because you know sometimes we get into our feelings and our emotions and we're not ready to be humble. And so I think the real fact of love comes from humbleness. And that's my opinion. I think that's the big point right there is being humble. Just being able to, like you said, Angelina, unconditional love. How can you have unconditional love and you can't even learn how to be humble? You know, you have to know sometimes you say things that can be offensive, but you have to say it in a way it's loving and people can receive it in love. And so, you know, you look at what's going on in the world. When we talk, we have to be mindful of how we deliver our message. So it can't come out so defensive to the point where it's not receivable. And so you got to think about those things. And so as we dive into this, you know, let's Angelina, I'm gonna ask you. So when you talk about love, how would you describe love in a relationship?
In a relationship,
whether it's friendship, marriage, you know, co-worker relationship, how would you determine or describe love in that type of relationship in certain environments?
Yeah, I think love, when you learn to love yourself, that's what's in your cup. So anything that spills out is going to be reflective of love. So when you are pouring into yourself, just to kind of go off of what Rodney said, is that self-love. That's your foundation. So if you think of the fruits of the Spirit, the very first one is love. And then you go into like joy, peace, and all the other things. But that foundation is love. So when you're able to operate from that mindset, and I think Lady T even said, it mirrors self. So if that's you, then it's going to speak loudly in any relationship that you have. You're going to be able to speak truth from love, whether that is a hard truth or just friendship, romantically, coworker, with your coworkers. I'm a leader sometimes in my different hats and capacities that I work in, and some of that stuff I have to do out of love because I want someone to be the best version of themselves. And so when I approach, it's always going to be from a mindset of love. I care about this person enough to share some hard truths, or even just to share encouragement or whatever it is that they need at that time, and work with someone so that relationship continues to grow, continues to foster love, respect, and all the things that come out of love.
Okay, writing. How would you describe love in certain relationships? Even if you want to talk about your relationship, I mean, far as your personal,
I'm okay with talking about my relationship. I'm happily married I've been happily married for 25 years, and 2 of them have been successful. So there you go. 23 years of hard work and dedication on both ends. Trust me, but I think love is patient. That's what I was going to say. In relationships, to me, it's just got to be patient, and you always got to work on it. If you're in a relationship, I say, like, I'm going to talk about my marriage. That's what I've been involved in, and that's what I do. My marriage, me and my wife have to continue to relearn each other. You always hear that saying, like, in a relationship, make sure you keep dating. You know why you have to keep dating? Because we all change. None of us are that same person that we were 16 years ago, when we were 16. You know what I'm saying? I always say the thing, when I met my wife at 16, we're high school sweethearts. When I met her back then, all I had to do was buy her a Snickers ice cream bar, and she was ecstatic. You know what I'm saying? Now my wife at her age now don't care about no Snickers. You know what I'm saying? So you have to really still relearn that person. You have to date that person. You almost have to re-fall in love sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's patient. To me, love is patient. Love is consistent. And love is just, when you're doing it right, it's pretty much the most awesome thing in the world. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, when it comes to relationships, you got to be patient, but the unconditional love is something that is, what is crazy is that the person that you love the most is the person you give the least grace to. You know what I'm saying? Like because your wife or significant other can do something so little and you take it so hard because that's your wife, you know what I'm saying, or your husband. When if somebody else had said it, you wouldn't have cared at all. You know what I'm saying? And you wouldn't have made it a big deal. So for me, you got to understand that love is grace, and sometimes you got to take, you can't take everything so personal. And you gotta relearn that person. You gotta work. It's patience. It's a lot of different things, and always moving towards the same goal. So,
Lady T,
I hope that answered the question.
What's the question again?
Say it again.
What was the question again? I'll make sure I answer it right.
What's the like? What if you had to describe love? What would be the most important thing you would describe
love in a relationship?
In a relationship.
Oh, okay. I have many relationships, but not a relationship where I have a boyfriend, man, and a husband type, right? And because my first one was a love is vulnerability, requires vulnerability. I truly believe that it takes a risk to love somebody. You're risking rejection and hurt or loss. Without vulnerability, love can become guarded, and I'm guarded with how I love. Past pains and trauma can make me not love a person because of my guards that I have put up. So I have vulnerability issues with love, right? But loving myself is always what I talk about when it comes to, know thyself and love thyself. You are to love God. God is within you. Love yourself, right? And love mirrors the self. I love myself, but then there is a something that makes me not know how to truly love the other because of past pain. And that vulnerability in mirroring the self for me is a mix. It's a complicated mix, because I'm vulnerable to tell you the truth of who I am, that my past pain has made me guarded with how I love. But I also know that I know how to love, but it's trusting that that other person is going to love me the same. You know how we always, I say this a lot, you give love, I give so much love, but I don't get love in return. Say something like that, right? And I've noticed that about myself, my giving, my honoring other people, my support for people has not been given back to me in the same way. So I question why. What is that? So I had to look at myself to say, I know it's not me, because I've been doing that work. I don't think in the way that other people have been treating me. So what's the problem? So that's a vulnerability. I know that that's a risk that I am taking for the rejection, the possible rejection, and the hurt and the loss that could come with it. So for me, relationships, I look at it on a surface level of treating people with love and respect. But the deeper part of it, there's vulnerability with myself, that I have not put my guard down because of past pains. And I have not really met a person that can give me the same type of love that I'm looking for, that the love mirrors me and how I give love. So that question for me is a little bit different. I hear you married men talk about it. Angelina, I'm not sure if you're married. I understand it from a single perspective, woman perspective, in knowing my past pain and knowing my past trauma with love, and how I know I'm guarded. But that's love is vulnerable. It requires vulnerability. So you can become very vulnerable. I choose not to right now. I'm going to be guarded. I'm gonna protect myself for a while until God brings the right person that mirrors me, because that's love. I can see it through the mirroring of myself. So I'm waiting still.
He's
Can I jump in real quick?
I know you did. I can see it in you. Go ahead.
So, Lady T, I just want to reframe some things for you, because what I'm hearing is you're not guarded. You just have boundaries. And boundaries is self-love, because you the power of your no and just the power of your yes when you do apply it, that's boundaries. And so just to take that and reframe it, because when you're guarded, it seems like you're closed off and you're not, and maybe there's a little bit of that, but boundaries are okay too, because you're just telling someone, this is the line and I'm not going to step over it or allow you to cross it until I can get and receive what I am giving out. And so I think that I just wanted to reframe that for you and for those that are listening, because I think we look at being guarded as this hard exterior, and I'm not talking to anybody. But it's just the practice of boundaries, and boundaries are good.
Yeah.
Can I just say something real quick?
Go ahead, Rod.
Yeah, I don't feel that neither one of y'all are saying anything wrong. I do feel that for most women, security is a huge priority when it comes to their man. And security is something that, you want to feel safe. You want to feel like, okay, when I'm with him, I don't have to worry about that. I can be vulnerable and he's going to misuse it. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I did have to learn how to make sure that my wife is secure, how to make sure that my wife understands that no matter what I do, I have her well-being first in my thought process. You know what I'm saying? And it takes time. You can't, I would think you would be insane to just give that, just to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to believe everything you say, everything's good. It takes time to gain that confidence in the person that ultimately is going to be your leader with God, that he's going to protect you no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And that was something that I did have to learn. I would honestly say in the beginning of my marriage, I was not that person. You know what I'm saying? I was not that person that gave my wife the security that ultimately, when we had the discussion, I realized I had to do. I realized that this was part of my thing, that no matter what happens, I have to make sure that security, I never fail her in that place of security. And I think that is just a big thing for a woman to have. So that's just my opinion.
Okay. Well, I was just listening to you, and I wanted to say, no one said really to focus on God's way of showing love, because when you focus on Him, He will show you how to really love. And we talked about compassion. Just think about this. We talked about this previously on the show, about loving your enemies. And loving your enemies is one way of showing unconditional love, but you also have to set boundaries, like you said, Angelina, for that person that did you wrong. You still have to have boundaries up. And so I think most people, I would say most people lose the focus on the love, and they focus on their emotions more so than the love part, because it's a lot of non-love relationships that's going on. When you look at relationships going on right now, people say, what, I want to test drive the car before I get. Okay, wait a minute. You mean to tell me you don't love yourself enough to say, what, I'm going to wait until I really get to know this person? And so that's going on in the world. And we talk about love, right? Unconditional love. You got to love yourself first. You know what I'm saying? This young generation, they're doing that, and they miss the part of loving themselves to say, what, I'm going to wait for marriage. I'm going to wait to make sure this man can provide for me mentally, spiritually, and physically. You understand what I'm saying? So we got a lot of relationships going on, and they really not moving in the love direction because they haven't been taught the correct way. We look, if you look good, you got money, first thing we say, all right, well, you know what, let me test drive the car. And so now what does that leave? What does that what is the standard of this time that we living in about love? Who's teaching them? And that's why I said focus on God. Most people are not focusing on God. You know what? They're focused on the moment, how they feel, what this person make them feel, and how they make them feel. You understand what I'm saying? And so how do we get to that? How do we tell people how to be focused on God, and then everything else will come? Everything else will follow. Is that easy to say?
I think so. I think when you build a relationship with God, then things change for you, because then you start walking in that mindset. So it's all inner work. Just kind of going back to like Lady T and reflecting on self, because you're gonna restore all of those things that have been hurt within you, because you surrender it to the Lord. You're gonna surrender it to God, and that's building your relationship with the Lord. And through that, it's easier to be vulnerable in a relationship. It's going to be easier to set those boundaries. Everyone, you can relationship with people out of love, but it doesn't mean that you need to go back and reconcile with someone that has hurt you. That's not necessary. You can forgive, and we all know that forgiveness is about self anyways, releasing you from these emotional bondages. So operating from that perspective is important, Chef. So it's important that we build that relationship, because then that's going to pave the way for any other person, whether that is romantically, co-working, whatever relationship pops in front of you, because you're going to already be operating from that within yourself, from the spirit, from your heart, to allow those things to happen with other people. And they're gonna feel it. They're gonna see it. I mean, what do I say? Actions speak louder than words, because it's already within you, and you're just going to bring it forth. It's going to illuminate a lot of the things that you do. And so when you speak with people, they're going to hear the love in that, whatever it is.
Ronnie, you wanted to say something?
See, I don't know who want to hear what I was about to say. I'll tell you what I was about to say.
Go ahead.
I've been married 25 years, but if something did happen and I was back out there dating, I'm test driving the car. I don't care what you say. I mean, I had to be between me and God. I had to have a conversation
see,
because.
But look, right,
Hold on,
hold on.
wait a second, wait a
Look,
second,
all
wait a
right, go ahead.
second. I know my love language. My love language is physical touch. And if we're not compatible physically, like that ain't gonna work. And I'm not gonna wait to get married to find out if that's possible. You know what I'm saying? That's just me, but I don't got that problem. So that's just, I'm talking about a problem I don't have, but I'm just like, yo, I'm putting it, I say it. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm test driving that car.
But let me see. That's right there, Angelina. I'm gonna let you chime in too. Look, Rodney, and see, this is, and I'm being so real. Listen, and see, watch this though. This is serious. And see that mindset right there. This is not a strike at you or anything. Look, that mindset. That mindset right there. It shows that you are not willing to die to yourself. See, those desires, you have to die. That's why God says die daily. Because guess what?
I should desire my wife.
No, your mindset. Your mindset changes. It's a channel that changes. And because guess what? There are things you have to do so you can see the love in that woman that you like. My wife, I'll give you an example. So I won't speak from just an opinion. I'll give you an example. I've been married previously, right? And so I did not take it to God and say, Lord, I want to make sure that I'm the man for this woman, right? But my second wife, I did. I fasted, I prayed, consecrated. I went into this deep like loneliness because I wanted to make sure that this woman that I marry is going to be the woman for me. Guess what? I didn't have sex with her before I got married because you know why? I wanted to make sure that spiritually we were connected. Everything that I had previously in my relationship, I didn't want to take that baggage and that desire and those wants sexually into this marriage. So guess what? I had to clean myself up. So I didn't have those same desires and those wants. So guess what? I had to remove my thinking sexually. So when I go into my wife now, guess what? It's a new journey. So guess what? We're going to love on each other. We're going to my kiss, the way I kissed somebody before, I'm not kissing her the same way. It's a new world. It's a new journey. She's a new woman. I'm learning how to love her physically, mentally, and spiritually. So guess what? How can you do that when you take your old ways? Just like a bottle of wine. You can't take a new bottle of wine and put old wine in the new bottle. It's not going to work. And so that's what you got to do. That's why God says the renewing of the mind. And why are you making those faces? You.
Because I'm good, because God is good and he already gave me my wife, so I don't have to deal with that.
But we here to encourage
people. I did.
But we got to be here.
Hey, I'm also not going to judge. How about that? I'm also not going to judge.
But you as a husband, look, you as a husband, right? There are other men that are looking for the ideal man so they can look up to and say, you know what, I want to look at that
woman. I got you. Go ahead.
Exactly. So we have to have a blueprint to encourage men to have a mindset to say, you know what, let me renew my mind. Let me renew my heart. And so guess what? My old ways I die to. So I can't have that mindset to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm a test drive this car. Because guess what? That might be the woman for you, right? That might be the woman for you. By having sex with that woman before your marriage, you can end that relationship by that. Because that woman says, you know what? He could not sustain himself. He couldn't resist me. I don't want to be with him. You don't know that. But guess what? God has a way of showing you, like, this was your wife. And now you messed that up because you wasn't obedient. Guess what? You might have a child with this person and you're not supposed to. So there are things that can occur by making that decision and saying, you don't want to test drive this car. And now guess what? Now the result of you test driving ruins everything that God had for you in that journey, in that season. Go ahead, Angelina. I know you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
I don't know so much. I appreciate the honesty, Rodney. I do, because there are people out there that are thinking like, okay, this didn't work out. I'm just going to do what I do. But I challenge that idea because you're taking old habits and you're reapplying them into new situations. So then when we end up in a broken relationship or something that didn't work out, you're going to sit there and question yourself, like, why does this keep happening to me? Well, you're taking old habits and you're reapplying them. So nothing's going to change. It's just you're going to continue to get the same outcome. So that's just a challenge, though. But I appreciate the honesty, because there are people out there that are like, well, this one's done. I'm just going to move on to the next, and we'll see what happens. But again, if you go back and you're working on yourself, then resolving issues that you may have that may prevent you from truly being connected in a relationship. Because it's easy to physically connect. It's easy to do those things. That's not hard. But to truly be naked in front of someone, and I'm talking spiritually naked in front of someone, now that's hard, because you are your essence and you're at your core, and that is true vulnerability. And in order for someone to see that and then be able to connect with you, someone that is equally yoked, that right there is what reflects God's image.
Okay.
And look, that's why you got and so God said, you know what, Rodney, ain't no more test driving for you. You got now.
Yeah,
look,
that's what
right?
I'm saying. Honestly, I shouldn't even be in this conversation, because
But
I
you
don't.
said if you wasn't,
me thinking myself, just knowing myself. If I had to do this all over again, I'm not marrying nobody without knowing what's going on. I'm sorry, I can't do it. But once again, I'm the biggest component of stop telling God what you can and cannot do. So I'm trying to stay out of it, but I'm still trying to say, like, I can't see it. Son. I just can't. Like what you did, I'm just thankful. You know what? I'm just thankful I don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm good at this, that, and other. So I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm ready to go to the next subject. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it alone, because I don't want to sit here and test God on anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I don't want him to test me. I am thankful that I never had to take that test, and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So,
but
Lady
Lacey, you want to chime in?
I've had this conversation. I feel like, everything that happens for a reason. If you are in a relationship with somebody and that becomes your husband and your wife because you connected sexually, that is the choice that you made. That is showing love, though. I see love as an action. There is a way to show love, and I don't care if you are going to judge it or not and say that it is sin or not. It is okay with me. I know God still loves me. The choices that I make, I'm going to follow God in all that I do. I'm not worried about that, but I'm not going to tell you that it's right or wrong. I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm not going to do it either. I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm going to be perfect in my walk. I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to tell you, if I lay with a man, it's because of love. I love him for a reason. And I laid with him, and he became my husband because I laid with him, not because I went to the courthouse and I went in front of a priest or any pastor and I said, I do for the rest of my life. I did it because I laid with him. You know my philosophy. Y'all know I have had these conversations with you. I believe that when you lay with a man, he's your husband. Okay. That is it. And if she is your wife, okay, that is it. You laid with him or her. So that is how I see it. Nobody
the covenant
can
between a man and a woman is between them and God. They don't need a pastor. They don't need the paperwork.
But it's
they don't need none of that.
Together. It is how they united together. It is how they came together. Like God said, they united and became one when they laid together. And so I'm not going to have these conversations where we go back and forth, because you know where I stand. I don't sit up here and need to justify it. I don't need to always explain it, but you know how I feel. If it ever happened that I am with somebody and we just don't have sex and we just have a great relationship, I am going to be all for it. I will never deny that. I will not sit up here and tell you it's not going to happen in my life, or I know what's going to happen the next hour or second. I have no idea. But I'm open to what God has for me in love, and I will show love to each and every person that comes in my life. That's it. Sorry. I'm the one, Angelina, I'm the one that disagrees a lot. So we go back and forth, and I disagree with this a lot. It's not I disagree. We just have a different way of communicating things.
Mhm.
I think that our disagreements may sound like disagreements, but sometimes I've heard a lot of times we're saying the same thing but different. But sometimes, like this whole, being with
Holier
a
than thou.
person, being with a person before getting married. Chef has had that in his heart for a long time because that was in his life and it happened to him. So he's very gung-ho about it. Like, let's do this, men. We need to be this way. And it's not all for everybody. That's it's not the same for everybody. I'm sorry, Chef. That's just how it is.
All right. So God says, walk on the straight and narrow. There are a lot of people walking together, say they claim Christ, right? They walk because it sounds good. But when
What do
you
you
walk
mean?
on,
Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm sorry. I said, what do you mean too early? Go ahead.
because it
I know what you're about
sounds
to
good. So there is going to be a sound. Okay, like let's I'm gonna put it like this, Rodney. There is going to be a sound. Only the chosen ones, only the ones who know Christ for sure in their heart is going to be able to hear that sound. But we're not going to be walking on the same path. That's what God means by walking on the straight and narrow, because there are things you have to do to walk on the straight and narrow. You cannot be over here saying, look, I know God, I love God, and then you doing all these things and you expecting to hear God. You're not going to hear God because you're so fixated on the sound that you hear, that it sounds good to the heart, that sounds good to the body, but there is a different sound when you hear God. And guess what? You will not hear the same sound that they're singing to, or they're ministering to. You're not going to hear that. And that's why he says walk on the straight and narrow.
That's not what God said, though.
I'm waiting.
Where did
Go
you
ahead.
get that from?
Let him finish it.
That
Let him
walk
finish
on the
it.
straight and narrow is not what God said. I don't even know where that come from. So please bring that out, because I
Well,
let all that
let
go
him-
on, but it's not what it said.
What's
God
not
did
it
not
said?
say walk on the straight and narrow. I don't know
Oh.
where you got that from.
He said we're
But-
all sinners and have come
I-
short of the glory of God. That's what he said.
I think
Angelina,
he's
go
saying
ahead and
enter
chime in. I'm gonna get that for her.
Enter the gate, enter through the narrow gate. That's what I'm thinking maybe he's referring to. Like,
No.
remember, enter through the narrow gate.
Last I
Wide
checked,
is the
you're
gate.
just as much of a sinner as I am. Ain't none of us different. You
But
ain't special, though.
No, but he
So-
likes to talk as if we have more to do, and I understand that, and I know we all have more to do in this life, but we need to make sure we're saying the right message. And I don't want to exclude people. I want to, include as many people as possible when I am having communication. And so that means I'm going to say things that contradict what Chef says, because I want the sinners to think the same thing, to understand too, because we're not perfect. There's nobody that's perfect. So, I mean, I hear you, Chef, but sometimes.
Okay, now, what you want me to get? I got it for you. Proverbs, that's one. Proverbs 4:26 and 27. Pick it up for me. And then you got Hebrews 12 and 13.
Okay.
Walk on that. It says,
read it. The first one.
The first
Proverbs.
one.
Yeah.
Proverbs 4:26 and 27. Mark out a straight path for your feet and stay on that safe path. Don't get sidetracked. Keep your feet from following evil. And now that was what I was talking about. You on the straight and narrow. There is a sound that you're going to hear that they're not going to hear. That is a straight and narrow path, because guess what? You're not going to hear and see the same thing that they're seeing. And now let me go to Hebrews 12 and 13. Make straight paths for your feet, so that what is lame may not be dislocated, but healed instead. Let me go.
That's how you got it. I understand now. I stand corrected. That is how you got it. But
hold on. Let me get one more for you. I wanted one more.
Okay.
Angelina, if you want to chime in, you can chime in. This is safe. You can chime in. Don't worry. Now, the other one I want to say is Psalms 15, 2 and 5. Walk straight, act right, tell the truth, despise the despicable, Keep your word even when it is cost you. It costs you. Make a honest living and never take a bribe. And so, see, that it goes back to the mindset. You on a straight and narrow. There are things you can do and you cannot do. Whether you do it or not, there is still going to be a consequence on walking on the path that's not straight and narrow. Because guess what? You have to live a righteous life. So that's the key, living the righteous life. It's not about a debate. It's not about saying you right or wrong, but it's the determination to live a righteous. And on that path, there are things you can't do. There are things you can't partake in. Just that, and whether you choose to do it, that's up to you. But God has made a way, a straight and narrow for us to walk. That's it.
In your eyes, when are you married?
Excuse me?
In your eyes, when are you married?
I'm married to God first.
No, when? But I mean, when? When are you married? If I'm going to be with a person, and do I have to be in front of a pastor to be married to that person? Do I have to have this piece of paper to be married to that person? Do I have to do these things? So my thing is this, and I'm gonna just say this.
Hold on.
Okay.
I want to ask you a question. In the Bible, it says that a man can only divorce and get a decree from where? A piece of paper has to be given. Not the word of mouth. A piece of paper has to be given for decree of divorce. And there's reason for that. You have to, so in other words, now we live in a different time now. And marriage is you go to church, if not, you go to City Hall, because you have to have a piece of paper stating that you are married, because there are laws that's under marriage that's not just you just living. You understand me? So you have to abide by what's going on in the world of land. Back in those days, they didn't have that. They had a different type of decree of divorce. And so you could not put your wife away unless she committed adultery. And so now, guess what? Now we live in a different time that we have laws. So you have to abide by those laws. Now, let's just say you didn't never get married with a piece of paper. And you say, oh, I was married with this person and now she cheated on me. Let's just
say you're happy. Don't even go into
we talking about
you have a happy
not going in front of a judge or a pastor. So now guess what? You don't have a decree. That's just your word of mouth. So now when you go to
isn't that a decree?
Word of mouth?
Yeah.
Not by law.
I can decree something.
Not by law.
Okay. All right, that's your opinion.
Not my opinion, but I'm talking about the law.
No, I'm saying you can decree something. Even the law. There's such thing as a verbal contract, sir. There's a such thing by law.
Guess what? And it has to be documented. You can say it has to be documented. And so how do you document? Just saying, oh, you know what?
Document it right now. I can come to a contract with you right now online, and that's a document.
And guess what?
Does not have to be a piece of paper.
And I got to sign it, don't I?
No, we can agree. We can come to an agreement.
That is false. If you have a business, if you have a business and you say, you know what, I want to go in business with you, Rodney, I want to go in business with you. I'll sign no papers, and you put up 60,000, I put up only 20,000. Guess what? And now I said, look, I'm taking my money. And guess what? You cannot sue me just by saying a word of mouth. I said, I don't know. I can get up there and lie. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Now what you gonna do? That's the reason why you have to have contracts. That's the reason why.
That's not true.
I could. I said I could, but let's be real. Let's be human now.
Your moral compass. Like you have to pay attention.
You
lie.
Don't mix.
Do a contract.
Don't mix
a verbal contract, bro.
We mix spiritual and natural now, because when you mixing the two, now
I'm not worried about. Let's move on.
Am I saying it right, Louisa?
Angelina wants to go back to love. Ain't we talking about love, brother?
Like, look at the comments. Look at the comments, because I agree. Louisa, I think I'm saying it right.
Louisa, you're good.
Yes,
yep,
Louisa. She is saying a lot, and so I think that you should be paying attention to that, because a verbal agreement is a decree. It is. You are saying that. Now, what you said, that you could falsely say something opposite, that is where your integrity as a human being is being tested, and you are showing yourself. That's not godly to lie.
Hold on.
You know?
Wait a minute. Angelina, go ahead, chime in, because I know you want to say. We want you to say something. Go ahead.
I would just say, you're talking about laws. When Jesus died on the cross for us, he broke all the laws. That's Old Testament. So we have to be careful when we are interpreting the Bible, because my belief is the Bible is a book of identity, who we are meant to be. So when we talk about the straight and narrow, that's going to differ for everybody, because my vices may not be the same as yours.
Right.
So I may not struggle being in a relationship and struggle with having sex with a man, because that's just not something I struggle with, but it may be something else. So that relationship with God is what's going to guide my compass on walking on my path. That he's going to tell me what I need to watch for. And being in relationship with God is of utmost importance, because that is who is guiding me down this path. Again, I stay away from things like righteousness, because that's where judgment is easily implied when we look at righteousness, because then it's like, you're wrong, you're right. And it's not for me to say anybody is wrong or right, because everybody is walking their own journey, and their relationship with God may not be the same as mine. They may be just starting. They may just, be kind of trying to figure it out, whatever. And so I think I really try to stay away from those things and look more as, who am I in relationship with God, and what am I doing? Because he's going to convict me. If I'm doing something wrong, he's going to say, this isn't for you. And I'll have that conviction.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much. That was beautifully said. You said it exactly as I wish I could say it to that man right there, but it's been difficult. So
What's been difficult?
it's difficult to get through to you, to make you
Put
understand
this
that
concrete
you are,
boots on.
because you are law. You are all about law, and you are a judgmental person. Sorry, I know I said that. Because you do have a way about coming off where you come off as you are judging everybody as to be a certain only way. That's it.
Hold up. First, let when you say judgment, right? I don't go directly. You have to have a standard. That's not judgment. It's not about just right or wrong. It's a standard. So if I'm going to take on, I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I'm a brother. Okay. So guess what? As a leader of my household, I have to have a standard. And guess what? Not just for me, for other men, because guess what? There are men that are looking to be led correctly, not from me. God is my leader. And so God has.
Last I checked, you was a sinner too.
That.
Just being
Did you hear me
honest.
say, hold up, did you hear me say that I'm not a sinner? No, I said a leader. And guess what? I am not perfect, but there is a standard that we have to hold. If we're going to be held accountability of our actions, you also have to have a type of standard that is supposed to be and what it's supposed to look like as a leader, as a father, as a husband. And so you have to walk in that. And when you walk in Christ, God, he will give you and direct you the right things to say when it comes down to that.
Angelina, do you want to say something?
I hear what you're saying, Chef, and to some of it, yes, standards and leading your household, yes, that's great. But it's when we start to apply those standards onto other people, we don't know where they're at in building a relationship. So when Jesus walked on earth and he was discipling, his disciples still struggled. Peter struggled with anger. There were so many things that they were still trying to overcome, but yet they were following Jesus and they were doing the straight and narrow, but they still struggled with those things. And all he did was come back in love and say, you know what? Just try again, keep trying. And so I think when we start being so strong, and I just hear your passion, Chef, that's all I hear. Like, you are so devoted in the walk that you have with the Lord. And I don't fault that at all. I see it and I understand it. But I think when we talk about wanting to include people and bring people that don't know who Jesus is, we have to kind of let open the gate, because it's almost kind of going back to Lady T when she's like, I'm so guarded. I'm not vulnerable in the relationship just yet. When she was talking about romantic, that's what we come across when we speak out of religion rather than relationship. When we're speaking out of religion and it's the law and this is what the Bible says, that turns people away. So that's just kind of how God has dealt with me in my journey. And I'm not perfect in it either. I'm definitely a sinner. I have my days, but I go to God and I just continue to try again tomorrow. And I think that's the point.
And just to look, Angelina, you know what? That's why. So as I learn and as I grow, that's why I'm in different movements. Like I'm getting ready to be. Well, I am a part of King Movement, and that is a movement with men, fathers. Men are trying to become leaders and try to become followers of Jesus Christ. And so, being a part of that, it teaches and it shows us how to walk this journey as a leader of yet not only as your household, but just as a man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men, I told Roddy this before, a lot of men do not go to church because of what they feel and how they feel, what it's supposed to be and what it's not supposed to be. And it's accountability. Men are afraid of accountability in this time.
Don't agree.
You
don't agree. Well, go ahead. I already told you I didn't agree with that statement when you first said it. So
I'll say
this
too about church. Like, you don't have to be in a church, because then again, you're focusing on religion.
There you go.
You're focusing on those things. You don't, because we are the church. What we're doing today, right now, we're churching. Like, we are the church.
Thank you, Angelina. Lord
have mercy.
I
love it. I love it.
Good. I love it. Yes. Thank you.
Ronnie, what you loving? Don't you go to church?
Yeah, I go to church.
Oh, all right. So what you loving?
Absolutely, but the church is a building. The church is a tool. The Bible is a tool. The pastor is a tool. All these things are tools. They are tools that guide me and help me on my path to Christ, but they are not Jesus.
All right.
They are not. You can go to church, you cannot read the Bible, and you cannot be the pastor and still have a relationship with God. It doesn't, those things don't make your relationship. They are tools to help you grow and get closer and build, but God is still more than capable of changing your heart without any of those tools. That's the thing, that people get so wrapped up in the tools, they forget that God is the main tool. He's the only thing you need. He's the only. It never says in the Bible that you need a Bible. It never says you need a church. It says you need to believe in Jesus. He's the only way in. So it don't matter how many Bibles you read or how many churches you go to. If you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, then you're not going to heaven. It's simple.
Okay.
It's simple.
I want to read some of these comments. It says, at the end of the day, Jesus was a man. He had feelings. He had desires, needs. The Bible only gives the perception of those that walk with him. It doesn't share Jesus' internal turmoil.
Inner turmoil. But
I mean, I can agree with it and I can disagree with that. But I mean, she has some better points before that. Go to the one up before that one. One more up.
Yeah, we are here.
One more up, sir.
Hold on. Relax. It says Trinity here. We are here to plant the seed and God water. And as he grows in them, we walk in love, agape love, as Christ does for his people.
Agape love. That's right, Trinity.
One more.
What are you talking about? This? Not false, righteous, or hypocrites. None of us are who we used to be. And in order to be an example, you must never forget where you came from, so we can guide those who are where we are. You talking about that, Ron?
Yep, that's the one I'm talking about. That's the one I'm talking about. As far as high as you get on, is as much as you go and as close as your relationship with God and this, that, and the other, you still are a sinner. You still was a sinner. You still are a sinner. You will never not be a sinner. So don't forget. So don't judge other people for their sins. So don't judge other people for their sins.
But
that's where it becomes. That's where it becomes hypocrisy. That's where it becomes.
Being a sinner. What does that have to do with directing and guiding? What does that have to do with anything?
It's how you direct.
You're not the judge. You're not the director. You're not the guider. God is.
So it's just all about how you say it. It's about
I am the vessel that God is using to do that. I don't do this for me, Rodney. This ain't for me. No, but let's get one thing straight. Why I'm doing this? I could care less about money. I'm doing this because I was
Nobody-
led to do this. I'm
Okay.
led to do this. And so listen, people going to listen and they're going to receive what they want to receive, and that's it. My message is not for me. It's not for me. It's for the people that's listening. And I'm sharing my heart. Look, I'm trust me, I'm more vulnerable than anything, because guess what? God has put me in a position so I can. I tell my life. Like when I struggle with something, I come up here and not just tell stories. I tell it because guess what? I want it to be known. This is how it's supposed to be. It's
Okay.
going to be rough. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy.
But you base your experience in your life onto
On
other people.
Did
You
not-
project yourself onto other
Did he
people.
not do that for Peter? Did he not do that
Okay,
for David?
I don't think you want to hear.
Once again,
That's what
you
I
are
think
not
it is.
him.
You will not
Once
hear
again.
anything. You're not hearing nobody, honestly. You
But
hear
no, I
yourself.
get it. No, it's all good. No, I mean, hey, look,
No,
that's once again something
hears
we're not going
himself.
to change.
He said, this is not for me. He said what he says is not for him, but it is. Everything that we say out of our mouth is for ourselves first. Okay. The person that's hearing it is also a part of it, but you're saying a lot that comes out of your mouth for yourself. You're basically saying things that you are projecting onto the world because of your own experiences. I understand, but it doesn't work that way because we all have a different journey. We are not walking the same path as you, and you have not respected that in people. People are God's children and not your children. So you have to sit back and allow God to work within them and speak in a way that brings them to love, not put them in law. That's how you sound. That's all I keep trying to tell you. You hear it in different ways, but you don't want to hear.
You know what affliction is? Lazy.
I don't think you want to ask me.
You know what affliction is?
You know I know.
All right. So affliction is, no matter how you put it, it's still affliction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Okay.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure.
What does
Hold on. No
affliction
matter
have to
how
do
you
with this
put it.
whole thing? Explain that to
Hold on, I
me.
gotta
Where did
Google
that come
affliction.
from? Where did that
Google
see? I
Go-
just said you don't want to hear, and you brought up affliction and didn't even complete what you were trying to say about affliction. So you don't want to hear, Chef. Everything,
Ronnie, look it up.
everything that we talk about when it comes to judgment and law, you reject it, and you just can't hear it. And I understand some people don't want to see. I've said something offended somebody once, and it was about them seeing. And all it was me trying to help them understand their own circumstances and what they went through to make them see something, but they don't want to see.
Okay.
People don't want to see and hear sometimes. And I think that's you. I
And
feel
when they
that that's
don't-
you.
So when
Now,
you said
you
it
could-
to them, when you said it to them, they got offended.
Because I brought up an example that reflected their situation for them to know the example of what I was talking about. And they don't want to see what I was telling them because offense came. Offense came through that, me bringing up their own circumstances. That's what I'm referring to. When sometimes when we talk, if you're so caught up, and you could say the same thing for me, right? Let me say this. This could go my way too, because you can't change my mind sometimes, right? So there's no change in your mind in certain things, and you have to be acceptant of that. Just accept that. That if that's where you stand, that's where you stand. But just accept it, but also see that you accept it that way and watch God work, because God's gonna work.
Okay, Ronnie.
I want to hear what Angelina has to say. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm good because I've already moved off of it. I'm done. You know, I already understand that. Like Lady T said, you got the concrete boots on, so I'm good. Angelina, how are you doing today? You all right over there? Don't get
good.
nervous. We love each other, I promise, and we love each other.
I'm not nervous. This
Yeah.
is just honest conversation. I mean, this is what
Yeah.
happens, with others too. I think when we are emulating God's love and we're trying to walk in our own path, when we encounter others, it's our opportunity to share truth. And we share that through our testimony. We share that through what we've been delivered through. Okay. And we give those words of encouragement, like, if I can do it, you can do it, whatever that is. But still, their convictions are not going to be the same as yours. So we can't sit there and say, if you do A, B, C, D, you're going to get into heaven. But heaven's already been given because Jesus died on the cross and that he opened the gate. So it's already there. So forgiveness is there. Like he said when he to God, he said, forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they did. He wasn't just talking about then, he was talking about now too. So we are here to show God's love. We're here to show truth. We're here to say, this is where I've been set free. And that can happen for you. Let me share Jesus with you. Let me tell you a little bit about what he's done for me.
Go ahead, Roddy.
Oh, I didn't say nothing. I was looking at the comments, man.
You
That's
didn't
all,
look- you
Pastor
didn't-
P.
I thought
Huh?
you looked up affliction.
Oh, I didn't know what that had to do with anything.
Just look
But
it
okay.
up, please, if you don't
yes,
mind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Something that causes pain or suffering is affliction.
Now, when you do something against God's will for you, you don't feel like you hurting him.
How do you know what God's will is for me?
Oh,
Mhm.
Lord.
How do
You
you
only
know?
you know that.
Exactly.
Exactly. So there you go. So let's stop
So,
the conversation there. So you
sin.
don't know what
Hold
God's
up.
will is for
Listen.
me.
When you constantly doing sin, you don't feel convicted.
You're going to constantly do sin. You're going
So
to constantly
anything
do
that's
sin.
against God, right? Anything that's against God, let's say you're walking in your purpose. When you do something that's against God, how does it make you feel?
Are you perfect? Do you do anything wrong every day?
Okay, so let me show you what I'm talking about. See, Lady T, this is why I do what I do. And I'm gonna tell you something. And Angelina, here it is. Listen, in my walk, right? In my walk, in this time and age right now, guess what? I have a whole wife. I told you this earlier, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. I have a whole wife.
Yes, a very beautiful wife.
And sometimes I still go and watch porn. Because you know why? Because guess what? My mind gets sidetracked. But guess what? I acknowledge that. And guess what? I work on it. You know what I go do? I get on my knees and I go pray. I start looking in the word. I start finding out, why am I still doing that? You understand me? It's because guess what? That's the conviction of my heart, the love that I have for God. I want to do right. Listen, my cup, I want it to be filled with the Spirit. And so I wanted, when it overflow, that's what's coming out of me. And that's what I'm talking about. That's the overflow. It's not me correcting nobody. It's the overflow of Christ that comes out of me. Listen, just like the light, when you go into a dark room and you come into that room, they know there's something about you that's different. They know. It don't have nothing to do about how I'm saying you right or wrong. It's about this, and this is what it is. And see, some people can't even do that because guess what? They're afraid what people may think. No, I'm not that way. It's not about, like I said, it's not about me. And guess what? Most men right now in this time and age struggle with that, and they won't tell you that. They won't tell you that. It's because guess what? I am a work in progress continuously. And so I'm making myself available to say, look, I too go through this. I too. And guess what? This is how we have to walk. You have to be vulnerable. Because of how you're going to get stronger if you don't get it out, if you don't talk about it, if you don't reveal it. Because guess what? Sin is sin.
Let Angelina say what she want to say.
Rodney
has
Rodney got his hand up.
What?
Now I got my hands up because I'm glad you brought that up, because now I can make my point for real. I do not have a problem with porn. I've never had an issue with porn, never watched porn, never was attracted to it, never had that issue. Now, if I watch a porn, I don't have sexual thoughts. I'm not there in the same moment you are. You know what I'm saying? Like if I walk in a room and the porn's on, I'm not even caring. You know what I'm saying? So let's say, I then see I'm watching TV and the porn comes on. Am I sinning?
Yes.
Why? Why? Because I don't have that fornicating thought.
No.
I'm turning even just because it's on doesn't make me a sinner. Just because it's there doesn't make me a sinner because I'm not doing what you're doing. I'm not doing what you're doing. If that's the case, I have a problem with alcohol. So I shouldn't drink alcohol. If Lady T has a beer, is she a sinner? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's anything in abscess, which when it becomes something that you worship, when it becomes something that this, but my sins or your sins are not my sins. If you get what I'm saying, your sins are not mine.
Okay.
If a porn comes on, I'm not caring about that woman. I haven't watched a porn probably since I was like 16, 17 years old. I've never had that issue. Never. So if it happens, I'm not in here lusting. I'm not here doing this. I'm not doing that because I don't have that problem. You can believe it or not, but I'm sorry. Cursing is one of my problems, but but still, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not my sin. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, you got to understand that some people's sin are not other people's sin. Is not a whole, like, for instance, something like porn can be something that is not a sin to another person because I may not lust over it. I may not care about that. I may not look over it, which is the sin is the lust, not the porn.
Go ahead, Angelina, and then I'll get you.
I would just go a little further into what Rodney's saying. Sin is what takes us away from relationship with God, because he already knows what you struggle with, what every one of us on here struggles with. He already knows. He's already forgiven us for that. So it's not like we slip up and, take a drink or watch a porn at a film or something. It's not like he doesn't already know that you're going to have those slip ups. He's already forgiven you for that. So you're not having to fight for your salvation. You've already given your heart to God. It's when that takes over your relationship with God. Is it a true sin in the sense of it's now replaced God in your eyes?
Mm-hmm.
So, Rodney, so look, if you watched it every day, right?
No. What does it matter? If I watched it once, according to you, that's the sin.
No.
If I come in the room and the porn is on and I sit there for 5 minutes watching and turn the channel, then I have just sinned. Correct or no?
What is the purpose of sin?
What is the purpose?
She just said it.
To take us away from God. Yes.
Okay. Is porn taking you away from God? No. Will it take you? Yes.
That's like being on this podcast. You can say that's taking me away from God. We're
indulging. We're indulging in the Holy Spirit.
If I watch Judge Judy and that's taking me away from God, like, what does that got to do with it? I don't know. So you're taking stuff, once again, you're making a law that's too literal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like God is in me. So no.
All right,
watching that porn is not taking me away from God. It's not. I mean, I'm sorry. Judge Judy will not take me away from God. Now, what will? A half a gallon of Tito's. That will take me away from God because that's my weakness. You know what I'm saying? That's when I'm now using the alcohol to cover whatever my real issue is and using it as my God, opposed to going to God. Alcohol is my thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't have that same passion that you have about porn. Just like you probably don't have the same passion that I have about liquor.
I don't have.
So therefore, if you drink a shot, it's not going to bother you. Have a beer, it's not bothering because you don't have that same issue that I have. I have the fact that I'm not dealing with something, so I go to alcohol opposed to going to God. That's my issue. That's my sin, not the alcohol. You understand what I'm saying? The alcohol is not my sin. The fact that I'm using it over God is my sin. Is correct or am I wrong? Am I saying it's correct?
Angelina, say it again.
And that's incorrect too.
Angelina needs to
alcohol is not the sin. It's because it's the things that you do after you get drunk.
No, it's the fact that I'm using the alcohol to
No.
cover Jesus. It has
No.
nothing to do with what I did. I could drink the alcohol and pass out. I didn't do nothing. I still did what it was I'm using alcohol to replace God. That is the sin.
Okay, go ahead, Angelina.
Yeah, I think we can't get so fixated on breaking a rule, because this is what it sounds like. This is the rule. If you break it, you lose your salvation. You don't lose your salvation. It's when the relationship is ruptured between you and God. Does it become a sin? In the sense of, let's say Rodney goes and he's drinking a Tito's tonight, but then he keeps going the rest of the week, and it's just, and then now he's spiraling. That has ruptured the relationship with God, because he could have a drink tonight and go, okay, I slipped up, and get back on track.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And because he's going to be like, God, I know this wasn't for me, and I shouldn't have done it, but you've given me forgiveness, and I'm going to get back on track. And so when we relationship with God and someone comes to us with a different vice, whether it's alcohol, whether it's pornography, whether it's being promiscuous, whatever it is, and they come to us, our job is to show Jesus love. What did Jesus do when he met the woman at the well? He said, I know all your sins. I know that the man you're laying with right now isn't even your husband. But you're trying to drink water from this well, but I can give you water for life. And she changed her ways. She went in, she changed her ways. And I identify with the woman at the well, because I just understand that. And it's not, and he didn't do anything but say, do you know Jesus? Do you know God? Let me share you this relationship. And then she became someone who said her testimony and shared how she was forgiven, and it changed her. But it's only through relationship with God can we be changed. And so we are vessels, yes. We are here to help, yes, but we're not here to judge, and we're not here to tell someone what they're doing is right or wrong, because that is not our place.
Thank you.
I love it.
Idolizing Jesus is a sin, and everyone does it. Ooh, Louisa, you said a lot right there.
You see that?
Yeah, you said a lot right there. But and that's what I said about the Bible, how we idolize the Bible. And I believe that that's not what God wanted us to do, nor did Jesus want. Jesus did not even want us to celebrate his sacrifice. I don't believe that for something that he wanted us to do. You know, the supper, we were talking about that earlier, the Last Supper, when he says, take my blood and take my body. Those things mean, in a way, a symbolic way of, knowing the body of Christ. But yet we take it very literally, and we take it to the part where it's like, Jesus died for our sins, because of what the Bible says. The interpretation of the Bible matters. And we've been taught that it was meant for Jesus to die for us. That is what we've been taught. But maybe, just maybe, we could go deeper to a more of a metaphysical understanding that there's something greater and deeper to what Jesus really was trying to teach about him coming here. We really don't know. And that's something that I try not to say, this is the truth. I will not look at the Bible and take everybody's interpretation as truth. I will not. Yeah. I will not agree with what everybody says. I will not sit up here and say you are right and you are wrong. That is something we are not to do. That is why Jesus said, do not judge. We are not to judge, but it's not emphasized enough. We don't know how not to just sit back and allow God to work through each and every person, through each and every circumstance, and not even look at it and not even worry. We're not supposed to worry about it either.
Let him without sin cast the first stone.
Yes.
And I feel like Chef Dennis be casting them stones.
He be throwing them. Bleh, bleh, bleh.
Throwing them. Boulders.
We love you.
but I'm not offended. I'm not offended.
It wasn't meant to be offended. It's meant to
my personal circle shows something different. My walk shows something different. My test shows something different. And this is not a strike. My walk shows something different. My life shows something different, because I know without a shadow of doubt, my test is not yours, Rodney. My test is not Lady T's. It's not Angeline's. My test is different from y'all's. It's totally different. So whether a person agrees with me or not, I understand that. But listen, I know this. I say this with love. I doesn't say this in anger. I doesn't say this in trying to prove what I'm saying to be right. Listen, what I'm saying, seek it. Study to show thyself approved. That's what he says. So what I'm saying, guess what? If you feel like, if anybody feels like I'm not saying something correct, look at the word. Go study. Find out yourself. I never talk about race. I never talk about politics. That's personal. Just like your relationship is supposed to be personal. And when you get a personal relationship with Christ, guess what? He'll show things to you. He'll reveal things to you when you allow him to reveal it to you. In your heart, in your mind, in your spirit. And so so I don't get offended. You know, some people will get offended. Why will they get offended? Maybe because I'm rubbing them the wrong way. Maybe. But it might be something that they need to hear. You ever thought about that? It's not about a judgment. It's about saying something that need to be heard, that to be said to that individual. Because guess what? We're having this conversation, and there are going to be people that's going to watch it, that's going to listen to it. They're going to agree or disagree. And that's expected because they have their personal feelings, their personal walk, and their journey. And in their journey, if it does not fit in their journey, they're not going to receive it. They're not going to do it. They're going to say, you know what? I don't want to do that. And I got to respect that. That's it. It's not like I don't have no malice, no hate. There's things I could be talking about, but I'm not. We could be talking about so much stuff that's going on in the world, but we choose not to talk about that. We talk about something that's prosperous, that's going to encourage people, enlighten them. Maybe might be the time for them to say, you know what, man, I was listening to them, and now they go into the word. Now they go and seek.
I do it.
Shall find. And guess what? The most important thing is the heart. Forget about everything else. Forget about your feelings. What are you pouring into your heart? Where are you filling up your glass with? Knowledge of Christ or knowledge of foolishness? Which one is it? That's for the individual to listen and find out themselves. And so my walk is not for me. It's for others to understand what it is to walk. This journey is
your walk is for you.
Yeah.
My walk is for me. My walk. But
Yeah,
as
you just said it was not for you. That's what you just said.
It's for others to understand what
it's not.
This journey.
It's
No,
for
it's
you.
not. It's for you.
Your walk is for you.
You can't help nobody you can't help nobody get in heaven, dog. You can't do nothing. You will not go to heaven, and then they're going to be like, well, thank you for bringing this person, and thank you for bringing that person. You don't bring no one, dog.
All right, so
there's only one way. You are not.
So that's what you receive?
That good.
Hold up. That's what you receive? I'm asking you something.
Maybe, look, you said your walk is for someone else. That's what you just said, correct?
So you know what? So I have to sow a seed. That's it. That's it. Sow a seed. That is it.
That don't make you walk for someone else. That still doesn't make you walk for someone else.
If I'm walking unrighteously and I'm speaking about
that. Even if you're walking unrighteously, you're gonna go to hell. And I mean that has nothing. They're not going to hell because of you. You're going to hell. And you're the only person.
Rodney, I didn't say none of that. Don't put no words in my mouth. I said if I'm walking righteously.
I thought you said unrighteously. I apologize.
No, righteously. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are looking at me and say, you know what? There is something about that young man I like, and they want to know what it is. They have to find out what it is, right? And that's Christ. Because he's the center of my life. Now, you understand that?
I hear you.
But now if I'm walking unrighteously and I'm talking about God, you think they want to listen and hear me? No, they be like, man, get out of here. You're talking buffoonery. You out here doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm doing this. They not gonna come to Christ.
They don't even will. Care. What do you mean? You're not going to take anybody from Christ. What is that? Yeah. Angelina, do you understand what I'm saying here, or am I tripping?
I think there's some confusion though, because like if we're talking about discipleship, we're talking about being a disciple of God. That's sharing God's message. That's sharing what He did for you. That's all it is. And that's your seeds. Those are your seeds that you're planting. But it's not your responsibility to bring someone to Jesus. And I think that's where the confusion is coming, because that's what it's coming across that you're saying. Like, it is your responsibility through your journey to bring people to Jesus. No, your responsibility is to share Jesus. Your responsibility is to disciple in the sense of, this is what God has done for me. This is who Jesus is in my life. And you share that, you plant your seeds, but it's up to that person to take that seed and run with it or not.
And it's for God to work in them. You can't change anybody from the inside. Nothing you can do will change anybody from the inside. That takes God. God changes people from the inside. The only thing you can do is change them from help change from the outside, which is like you said, show and lead and be these things, but you're not bringing no one to God. You know what I'm saying? Like, you may introduce them, you may tell them your story, you may get them intrigued, but God he's going to change, just like he changed you. You're going to sit here and tell me there was a person that changed you? No, it was your walk with God that changed you. No person is going to be able to take the credit for changing you, just like you can't take the credit for tasing anyone.
My grandparents sowed the seed in me. So in that sowing the seed, I learned how to have a relationship with Christ. What are you talking about? So God is the center of my life. But if it wasn't for my grandparents, guess what? I would not know who Christ was. If my parents didn't have me in church, I would not know. I'll be walking blindly like some people do. So they sowed the seed in me, and I chose to live for Christ.
Cool. Well, go to your grandparents and then somehow get to heaven, because that's not going to happen. So I'm still trying to. You
also said it too. You chose. You, Chef.
There you go.
Yes.
You did.
But if my grandparents didn't sow the seed, and I saw them walking and living it, guess what? I would not have the example of what it is supposed to look like.
So your grandparents was the only thing that got you to Christ. That's what you're telling me.
And the only way that it would happen is through your grandparents. Like, Christ will always show up, no matter what.
If it wasn't for them sowing the seed in me, yes, I gotta acknowledge that, because guess what? If I didn't have that, I was on a road of disaster as a young child.
You're good. No problem. I'm getting over it. So I'm good. It's I got it. Hey man, you know what? I hope that your journey leads a lot more people to Christ. And I'm going to keep on hoping that and this, that, and other. And if you believe that that's your mission, then that's what you believe.
I think that we're going to see Chef evolve with time, and love is going to make him be a better person, and he's going to communicate even better. That is what I see about you, Chef.
I hope so.
That is what I see. I think our conversations with different people like we have, Angelina, it's great to have you on, because you've said a lot of great things that I hope Chef will go back and listen to, because it's truth in it. And I think that you're going to evolve with time as a good warrior, because you are a warrior of Christ. Okay.
Absolutely.
That passion is there, and it's beautiful. It's just, you are straight up Newark, New Jersey. Okay. You have a talk with you. It's abrupt. It's hard. It's firm. It's in your throat, but people die every day. That's son.
It's it's a little over the top. I mean, I understand it. I mean, that's how you feel. You feel that you are more than what I think you are, but that's my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
And look,
and it's okay.
Now watch this. Now I'm going to say something for you, and as everybody here, as you grow in God, guess what? You'll start to see things differently. That's it. And then guess what? If you're walking in your purpose, you're going to understand change is a part of growth. And so y'all understand that.
Yeah, and I've definitely
and
did
so
a lot of change and growth.
You look, Rodney.
I'm good.
Listen, Angelina don't know. You have
You know,
listen. You have
what?
already changed already, and that, guess
Absolutely.
what? And guess what? And I will never take the credit. It's not because of me. It's because what you required and you desired, and so you began to change. You said that, did you not?
Yeah, well, I'm
Exactly.
not
Now,
disagreeing with you on that.
and I never and look and Angelina, he
And
started
you
out
could take the credit. You wouldn't
hold up,
be able
I-
to. So
but
it doesn't matter to
but
me.
that's the
You're
point
making
that
a
I'm saying to
statement
you.
that doesn't
Hey,
mean anything.
But my point to you is this: guess what? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Okay. Yeah. All
And
right.
and you are an example of
Not
what
for
I'm doing.
you. Not for
See,
you. You ain't
You
any
missing it. You
different.
missing it. You missing it. You missing
No,
it.
you're missing it. That's what I'm trying to
Okay,
get you to understand.
Angelina, do you understand me?
I understand what you're trying to say, Chef. I think I agree. I think you have a good solid idea. I think the articulation of it is yet to evolve. There is some things that you are speaking that I can agree with, but then there's still some clarity that needs to come through, and I think that will grow with your relationship with God, as it will with me too.
I want you to be my negotiator when I do like a contract and we don't agree. She knows how to say it so gently and nicely.
Mhm,
I need to read your emails every day. I bet they
mhm. Good for the heart.
yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, for real, I appreciate it. Nah, I mean, it's conversation, man. It is what it is. We all have growth. We all need growth. So you want to read that or not? We want me to read it? Only Jesus can take us to heaven, but my son saw Christ in me, and he came to Christ by the examples as I follow Christ. Yeah, I mean,
You
I
mean
get
what?
it. I get it,
Hey,
but
you don't get
you
it.
can't.
You
Huh?
don't, you don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get it. You don't
No,
get
I
it.
do get it. What do you
You don't
mean?
get
My mom took me to church all the time. I get that. I understand that the seed is sowed, but it still was God who changed me. It still was. I'm not saying that I'm not out here trying to sow seeds either. I'm not trying to instill these things in people, but I also know that when I get to when there's only so far I can go. You know what I'm saying? There's only so far. I can show them through example. I can show them through the word. I can show them through the things, but until God works on them, I'm doing nothing but showing them. That's it. But I'm not showing them for them. I'm showing them for me. I'm living just the righteous life for me. You know what I'm saying? You're saying that I'm doing this for other people. No, I'm saying that no, I do it for me. And by me doing the right things, I'm showing them, and that plants the seed. But I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm doing this to save your life or to bring you closer to God. No, I'm doing this to bring me closer to God. I'm doing this for my walk and my walk only. And just so happens that my light is shining on you. You know what I'm saying? It just so happened, but I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, I'm waking up this morning to get you closer to God. No, I'm waking up this morning to get me closer to God. And you know what? Because my walk and my light is shining because I'm getting closer to God, it shines on you. And now you're looking at it like, oh, I want to get closer to God too. But that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's what I'm trying to say. You're not going to be in heaven telling God, well, I brought all these people with me. Look at this. No, God's going to look at you like you crazy. He's going to be like, nah, these are my followers. These are my people. I'm the one that they, what you call it, you did, you know, you planted the seed. Yes, thank you. But yeah, but that's all it is a seed. God is the sun. God is the water. God is everything else. Without him, that seed is nothing. So therefore, to me, that seed is still nothing. All I want you to do is see what God is doing in me, see my brightness, and then if you want to join, I'll show you how to do that and this, that, and the other. But God is the thing that changed me. You know what I'm saying? My wife didn't change me. Nobody else did. God did. So that's all I got to say. That's just my testimony, sir. Your testimony may be a little different.
Angelina.
I just think that this was a great opportunity to share God from different perspectives and different viewpoints and walks. everybody's on a separate journey here, is what I'm gathering. And anybody that's listening or watching, they're in their journey. And we have definitely, all of us, planted some seeds out there and some food for thought, like things to think about. And that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to take our journeys, share the word, share the love, and be here to help answer questions if there's any. So I just thank you for the opportunity to do so.
Yes, and this is coming to the end of our show. And listen, it was great. It was definitely a great conversation, and I pray that someone received it and they're going to go and do their homework. And listen, Angelina, you're always welcome. You can always email me. Always welcome. We got some in about 2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks. We definitely have a full panel on about 2 weeks from now. It's going to be interesting. I know it's going to be interesting. Hopefully you can watch it. If you would like to join us, you're welcome. But it's going to be a full panel. Some of the guests that were on here previously, and some of them are very powerful, young. And I'm telling you, I'm amazed. I'm not even going to tell Lady T and Rodney, but one of the guys that was on here, listen, I'm gonna let him come on here and share it with you guys. But he has done something recently, and I was amazed by it. I'm really blessed by it. Just to be in a having a conversation with him and be blessed with his presence. He's a young guy too. Young, I'm talking about young, on fire for God, and he's really doing the work that he's supposed to do. He's walking in his purpose, and so hopefully you'll be able to. If not join us, see it. It's definitely going to be powerful. And so,
if anybody I want to know where I can follow you at, Angelina.
Oh yeah,
yeah, absolutely. So my podcast is Good Morning Minute. It's on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. I do have a website, angelinamojica.cfle. At Google or at Gmail. Sorry, at Gmail you can email me, but you can find me. Just Google me. You find all my stuff there.
Oh, just Google her. She said, "Oh man."
Yeah.
So just Google your last name, because I'm already on your social
Google
media.
Angelina Mojica, and you can see all the things that I've done. Yeah.
Okay. You got that, Lady T?
Yep. It was wonderful. Thank you for coming and giving your perspective. Yes, it was wonderful.
All right, guys. We see you guys next week. Peace.